Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sneha and you're watching Sneha Storm. So today's video is going to be a mid-monthly wrap-up of all the books that I finished in the first 2 weeks of March 2021. The reason I want to break this into two videos is because A, I tend to ramble on and on and on about books and I want to make shorter videos, and B, I think the thoughts will be fresher in my head if I do it twice in a month rather than all the books towards the end of the month. So without any more further rambling, let's get started. Till March 15, 2021, I finished 5 books, all of which are fiction books. 1 was an audiobook, 1 was an ebook, and 3 have been physical books. All of them have been by women authors. First couple of that has been intentional to go along with Women's Day, but after that it kind of became unconscious, but once I realized it, I wanted to make it a thing. Like this entire month I wanted to read women authors, and it's not really that big of a deviation from my normal reading habits because I tend to read more women authors anyway. The first book which I finished was Anuja Chauhan's Club You to Death. Anuja Chauhan is actually one of my favorite Indian authors. Her books I find are very charming and witty, and there's a lot of really cute banter between the leads in all her books. She's written rom-coms primarily, but this is her first crime thriller mystery suspense book, and unfortunately I have to say that this is my least favorite. So the plot is set in a really elite club in Delhi where a personal trainer is found dead on the premises. So the inspector who's on the case is called Bhavani. So he teams up with the two protagonists of the book, who are Kash Dogra and Bambi Todi, both of whom are lifelong members at the club, and all three of them try to solve this crime. So the victim has had a kind of bit of a sordid past, and they try to unravel it and find the suspects and all that. She used a very Agatha Christie-esque setting to this book. Like there are multiple suspects, all of whom have motives. The victim has like a really deep dark secret and he's wielding it over other people, and towards the end all the suspects are in a closed room and the detective comes and explains the story of what happened, and at different points you would think it's a different person. So she tried really hard to make it a really good mystery, but the reason I don't like this book as much as I like her other books is because I kind of guessed the murderer, and it was really very obvious to me because of a statement that the detective makes. I didn't guess the motive, so that one was a surprise, but I definitely guessed the murderer. Another thing which I didn't enjoy and I wanted more is that I was missing that banter and that wit and that that feeling of an Anuja Chauhan book which makes it really enjoyable. I was missing in this, which is why I didn't like it as much as her other books. So yeah, that's why I ended up giving this book 3 stars out of 5, and I think that's the lowest star I have ever given to an Anuja Chauhan book. The next book which I finished in March 2021 was The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. This, I was listening to the audiobook of it, and this was also part of a book club that I'm part of on Instagram. So this is book 1 of the Bridgerton series, which is now very famously a TV show on Netflix, which is why everybody is reading it now, I feel. But it is quite an old series. I think she's written it in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. So The Duke and I is the first book of the series, and it tells the story of Daphne Bridgerton, who comes from a really big family, but she is the first daughter to be of marriageable age, 2 or 3 seasons of being unmarried, and her mother is despairing, but she's okay with it, but she does want to marry and have a family and things like that. Enter Simon Bassett, who is the Duke of Hastings, and he and Daphne hit it off. They decide on this plan that okay, the Duke wants to escape from all the mothers and all the potential daughters, so he and she wants more prospects. So she thinks that if the Duke shows interest in me, I'll get more prospects, and the Duke thinks that if I'm interested in her, then other people won't pursue me. So they cook up this plan where they don't intend to like each other, and they intend to only show that they're together for their own personal motives. But of course that doesn't end up happening. They end up getting married, but there is a twist. I enjoyed this book. I really liked it until a particular point where, trigger warning, there is a rape scene, because Daphne kind of manipulates Simon to sleep with her, and his reaction after that is very triggering, I would say. Once I hit that scene, I reduced my rating for the book. But until that, I was enjoying the audiobook because the voices are all this Victorian Britain accents, and I really enjoyed that. And Daphne in the book is actually a much stronger character than the one shown in the TV show, because she doesn't sulk that she's not getting married, and she takes it in her stride, and she has a really good equation with her brothers and her mother, and I really like seeing that. And the banter between her and Simon is a lot of fun. So I genuinely enjoyed the romance comedy aspect to it until this scene, after which Daphne started looking really manipulative and really selfish to me. And I just ended the book on a kind of a bad note. So, which is why I ended up rating this book 2 stars out of 5. The next book which I finished in March 2021 was Jane Eyre by Charlotte Brontë. So this is the story of Jane Eyre, who is an orphan who is brought up in her aunt's house, and she's ill-treated and abused there by her cousins and her aunt herself. Later on, she goes to a boarding school where again the conditions are not so good, and she has a few tough situations to face there. At the age of 18, she is appointed as a governess in a mansion of a wealthy gentleman called Thornfield, and the man's name is Mr. Rochester. And over there, she falls in love with Mr. Rochester, and but happiness is still far away for Jane Eyre, and circumstances force her to flee from Thornfield. I enjoyed this book. So much. I did not expect to enjoy it. This is of course a classic, and I expected the heroine to be a little off the times. She is just so independent and so free from other people's influence, and this character is far ahead of her time, really. And I so enjoyed her. She's so witty and so funny, and her value system and her honor system is so strong that it refuses to be swayed by distractions and love and things like that. I so enjoyed this book. I rated it 5 out of 5, and I'll recommend it to everybody. The next book which I finished was A Day in the Life by Anjum Hasan. I have a vlog for this. I'll link it up here, wherever. So please check it out, where I take you around a weekend in my life where I spent reading this. This is a collection of short stories set in India, and mostly South India, and it talks, and each story is about a day in a life in a regular character, and it takes a look about their history, about their hardships, about what they're going through, things like that. So I ended up not enjoying this because none of the stories really drew me in. I talk more in detail in my vlog, so again, check it out. I think I provide a much more comprehensive review of this book over there, and I rated it 2.5 stars out of 5. The last book which I finished was Black Coffee by Agatha Christie. This was also for a book club. Black Coffee is about a wealthy scientist who has this formula for, I think they're referencing an atomic bomb, and he is paranoid that there are a bunch of relatives at his place and somebody might steal his formula. So he contacts Hercules Poirot to come to his mansion and guard that secret until he can take it to London and give it to the government. But of course, before Hercules Poirot can reach the scene, the scientist ends up getting murdered. There's a little bunch of characters in the house, and all of them are suspects, as you might see. Now, I didn't realize that this book was actually a play written by Christie, and then it was adapted into a novel by some other random person years later. And you can totally tell that this book is not meant to be a novel. Right from the get-go, the language used to describe Hercule Poirot was so obnoxious. Like, he was portrayed to be somebody really hypocritical and, in his own words, a literal snob. And that's not how I thought of him as a character while I was reading other Agatha Christie books. It was just the characters were so badly sketched and badly written that I did not enjoy this at all. And another thing why I didn't like this was, I guess, the murderer really didn't enjoy this book, and I ended up rating it 2 stars out of 5. So yeah, those are the 5 books that I've read so far in March 2021. I hope you like this video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Do watch my other videos if you like seeing me. I'll link them down below and up here somewhere. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.